In today's video, we're going over how you can spice up your product videos and make them look just like this. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kuhne. I make videos right here on YouTube all about filmmaking and content creation. If you're interested in learning and growing together with me and improving your craft, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon down below to be notified every time I post a new video. In today's video, we're going to be going over some tips and tricks to spice up your product videos and make them look way better. So the other day I was scrolling on Instagram when I came across an ad for Doritos. Now the ad that I saw was actually for their new product, which is 3D Doritos, which I thought would make for an awesome product video. Unfortunately, after searching through several stores in my area, I could not find them anywhere, but I did stumble across these fiery Doritos and I really like the packaging on them, so I figured why not stick with that theme and use that for our product video this week. I do want to mention before we get into any specifics that when you're at the grocery store finding your product, you may want to keep in mind some of the things that are going to be associated with that type of product. This is called sensory branding. What you want to do is appeal to your audience and appeal to their senses to really sell your product and make your video look better. So as you can see, I have some props here. I have some hot looking peppers, some hot sauce. I laid this out on like a black cutting board to kind of add some texture to the shot. And as usual, we are using my black comforter as our backdrop today and just these basic umbrella lights that I got on Amazon for around $50. After I got all my necessary supplies from the grocery store, I headed home and went on YouTube to see if there was a Doritos ad for this specific chip. I ended up finding this 5-second ad that I absolutely loved. I thought it was super creative, but I'm not actually a special effects artist, as you probably know, but I still wanted to kind of recreate this type of idea and get a shot of the chip bag transitioning from the nacho flavor into the lime flavor. So the first thing I thought of when it came to shooting this was that I was going to place my nacho flavor bag and my lime flavor bag in relatively the same spot on my table. Then I was going to roll a lime into the bag and switch my bags out and re-roll the lime. That way it kind of looked like when the lime was hitting the bag, the chip bag was changing. Unfortunately, just the way the lighting was and the way the lime was rolling every time, when I put it in Premiere Pro, you could easily tell that this was two separate shots and it didn't seem like a seamless transition. I also had the idea of going into After Effects and using a plugin called Saber that I've used many times before to create a fiery effect around the chip bag. The downside of using this on a chip bag is that you have to create a mask to use this effect, but when you're using a mask on something like a chip bag, it doesn't really have a lot of shape to it, and the mask just kind of looked unrealistic to me, and you could easily tell that it was a plugin and not actual fire. Thankfully, when I was shooting, I wanted to make sure that I had a diverse amount of shots, which is something I recommend if you're shooting this and don't want to have to reshoot the next day. So my second idea was that I was going to shoot a static shot of both flavors of chip. I had a static shot of the nacho bag and a static shot of the lime bag. I then also got a shot of the lime rolling across the table by itself with nothing behind it. So something that I did in my Coors Light video was actually use a piece of glass to create a reflection of my beer can that you saw at the end of the video. Now I didn't have the idea to do this again with the Dorito bag, but I really should have because I really like the way this looks and it adds a lot of texture to your shot, especially if there's no movement. But since I didn't do this in camera, there is a way to do it in post-production, which is actually something that Daniel Schiffer just talked about on his channel, which inspired me to do it for this video. So this is a really simple process. All you're going to do is duplicate your clip, go to your effects tab, and search for vertical flip. Once you drag that onto your second clip, you'll see that it created a duplicate layer, but now it is flipped. So now all you have to do is go ahead and drag this clip down using your effect controls tab, and you'll see that it aligns and looks kind of like a reflection. But to sell this effect even more, you're going to want to go over to your effects control tab, select opacity, and lower your opacity to roughly where you think it looks good. I think I went with about 20% for this clip, and as you can see, now we have a reflection of our chip bag. I did this for both my nacho flavor and my lime flavor before piecing these two clips together and nesting them as one clip. After I created my reflection, it was time to go in and add some stock footage. So I searched for some stock footage on YouTube of some fire burning effects, and as you can see, we have this little effect of ashes flying up in the air, which I think just makes the shot looks a little bit more realistic and really sells the effect that it is a fiery hot chip. Then I searched for an explosion stock footage clip, and once I found one that I thought looked good, I sped it up and repositioned it and scaled it to where I thought it would look good. And as the chip bag transitioned from the nacho to the lime, I placed it so it looked like the bag was igniting on fire and changing. Now don't get me wrong, using things like stock footage and other little effects in Premiere Pro is a great way to turn boring footage into something more exciting and spicy. But I also do think that there is a lot of benefit that goes for doing things in camera. So something that I wanted to do was actually play with fire. But I am in a very small space, and I didn't want to put myself or my family at risk by accidentally burning my house down, but I still wanted to play with real fire. So what I did was get a piece of glass that is actually from my mini fridge, I put a little bit of lighter fluid on it and lit it. Now the good thing about doing this is that the flame is just going to burn on that piece of glass, and it's going to go out rather fast because it's just lighting on the lighter fluid. There's nothing else to catch fire. Now if you are going to try this effect, make sure that you are being safe about it because I don't want to be responsible for anything going wrong, but this is an easy way to kind of get some cool looking special effects without having to get too crazy or too dangerous, especially if you're on a budget and you're in a very small space like myself. But overall, I was pretty happy with how that shot turned out, and even though it wasn't a huge roaring fire, it still was pretty cool to have real fire in the shot and not have to mess with stock footage. Something else that you might have noticed is that I had a shot of my chips rotating back and forth, and I added some flames in the background of that as well to just sell that effect a little bit more. Now you might be wondering how I shot those chips rotating and what I did to achieve that look. So something that I recommend is that you buy some skewers that I used in the strawberry videos or something similar to be able to attach your chips onto, or whatever product you're using. Using things on sticks is really beneficial, and you can see a lot of other creators on YouTube utilize things like this, like Austin Paul when he made his Pringle commercial. So in order to achieve this look, you're going to want to head into After Effects and import your clip. Once you have your clip in After Effects, you're going to go over to the right hand side and search for an effect called Simple Wire Removal. Drag that onto your clip, and then you will see these two little points, A and B, pop up on your clip. What you're going to do is position those points at the top and the bottom of your skewer, and as you see, once I increase this thickness over on the left hand side here, it starts to make it disappear. Now you are going to have to go through frame by frame and position this, but if you start at the beginning of your clip and scroll to the end of your clip and do those ones first, it makes the middle section a lot easier and it doesn't take that long. The benefit of doing this is that you don't have to mask around your stick frame by frame, and it's a pretty simple way of removing the stick cleanly without having to worry about cutting anything off of your chip. Now after I removed the stick, I wanted to make the shot a little bit more cool and stand out. So I imported it into Premiere Pro, duplicated it multiple times, and then just moved the clips around and rescaled and repositioned them until I got them where I wanted them to be. Then after adding some stock footage over top, I got a shot that looks like this. So even if you have a boring looking shot with nothing in the background, you could still add some cool effects in Premiere Pro to make your footage look way better. Well, that's going to wrap up today's video. I do hope that you found it helpful and enjoyable. If you like this type of content and you want to see more of it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and click that like button. And I will see you all in the next video.